Oh my gosh, dude, we just made a video. We just made a gosh darn video talking about the Vancouver Canucks and Jake Guentzel. This was from 14 minutes ago. We could have made this video yesterday, not gonna lie. But we have ourselves new updates. Turns out, Elias Lindholm, his time in Vancouver, you could debate whether or not is it really all too guaranteed to last till the end of the year and into the playoffs. The reason for this is because of a post made by Chris Johnston just 10 minutes ago. With the Vancouver Canucks believed to being among those pursuing Jake Guentzel, word is they've had discussions about potentially flipping Elias Lindholm to the Bruins as part of the machinations to make it happen. What a terrible word to use in that sentence. Just use aspects. Ay, ay, ay. But nothing is concrete in this place and time. Still lots of moving parts. Now, when it comes to this idea, this tweet is going viral, 10 minutes, 200,000 views, everybody's liking it, everybody's bookmarking it, everybody's replying to it, people are saying it's a good move, crazy talk, bro, what, lol, ridiculous, why would the Vancouver Canucks want to trade away Elias Lindholm? They just traded for him, right? Thing is though, 4 points in his last 10 games, 0 points in his last 5, I'm not gonna lie. Elias Lindholm has not really been great with Vancouver this year. He had 32 points in 49 games played with Calgary, yes. 6 points in 14 games with Vancouver, though. Let's do 6 divided by 14 multiplied out by 82. That's around a 35-point pace. And unfortunately, Elias Lindholm has not played at a 35-point pace since, what is it, his rookie year? Like, this stint with Vancouver has been some of the worst hockey he has played in terms of points per game. Not talking about anything else, not talking about the power play, not talking about the penalty kill, not talking about the defensive responsibility, not talking about any of that, just the points in and of itself. He's been probably having one of the worst stints of his career with Vancouver, and honestly, it's not for a lack of opportunity. Elias Lindholm has been placed on some of the top lines. He was playing with Pettersson for a while. He's been given chops to do well with this team, but I'd be lying if I'd said that I think he's been doing a good job. Like, I'm sorry, man. Hockey's a business, and business moves quickly. Lindholm has unfortunately not been what the Canucks wanted from him. And sure, you could say, hey, there's like 5 days left until the trade deadline. The Canucks are playing later today against the LA Kings. It's a late game, thank goodness, so we have time to let this video marinate. And there's still some time before the start of the playoffs for everybody to get chemistry and everything, right? So what's the deal? What are you doing with this kind of a move? Well, this is kind of what I'm thinking about, right? We had ourselves a conversation from Elliotte Friedman actually yesterday on the 32 Thoughts article or podcast. I'm not sure which one it was, but it's 32 Thoughts. Friedman said the defense is less important to the Canucks. They want to trade for a forward, decide on Kessel, and what do we have to do to get Lindholm going? It hasn't been an easy start for Lindholm, Friedman said, and another team wondered if there's any chance the Canucks would flip him, but I don't sense that that's the plan. That was from yesterday, and as we had said, you know, hockey's a business, things change quickly. Now today, the news is that apparently the Canucks might be thinking about trading Lindholm to the Bruins. Now, firstly, why Boston? Well, easy. The Boston Bruins don't really have too many centers that are top-of-the-line caliber. I mean, they've had some good guys filling in. You can't deny the impact of Charlie Coyle, man. He's been pretty good this season, but the Boston Bruins were already interested in getting Elias Lindholm before he was traded to Vancouver in the first place. The Bruins are one of those teams. We made videos about Lindholm and the Bruins potentially being a link. And so, for the Vancouver Canucks, they could say, okay, let's trade Elias Lindholm to Boston, get some assets from the Bruins, and then use those assets plus some other stuff to trade for Guentzel from Pittsburgh. And the best part is, this actually makes a little bit more sense when you think about what we had talked about in the video just 14 minutes ago. I mean, talking about this right here, we just said that when it comes to the teams that are thinking about trading for Guentzel, word is that they're not really thinking about extending him. They just want to get him, use him, and play him for the playoffs. But the Vancouver Canucks, we've already known this about their team. They don't want to trade away another first for an asset that is only going to be a rental. So when you think about Lindholm, he was already kind of inclined to potentially being a rental. We made a video just a few weeks ago. Where is it here? We were talking about the idea of Elias Lindholm re-signing and how it's not looking good on that respect. It doesn't really seem like Elias Lindholm is going to re-sign in Vancouver. And you know, some have been saying, oh, it doesn't really look like Lindholm wanted to get traded to Vancouver in the first place, yada, yada, yada. That's all speculation. But at this point, there was already this floating around idea saying that Lindholm was going to go to free agency. He wasn't going to re-sign with the Canucks. But if they trade him away, they get Guentzel in return, there is an opportunity to re-sign Guentzel instead, thus validating the Canucks' claims that they don't want to trade another first-round pick away for a rental only. If they trade it away, they want a piece that they can re-sign. They want somebody to stick around. So, for Jake Guentzel, this makes sense. This makes sense. And Elias Lindholm getting traded to the Bruins, I mean, that's just one part that makes this work, because you want to free up that roster spot. I'm sorry, I wanted to see Elias Lindholm do well in Vancouver, everybody else did too, but it's been a while and he hasn't really gotten going in the ways that we probably expected. Even Andrei Kuzmenko scored 2 goals yesterday for the Calgary Flames. They lost, but he still scored 2 goals, and so I don't know, man, this Elias Lindholm trade, it's not really looking like the big win-win, I guess you could say, for both teams that we thought it was initially, mostly because Lindholm has been kind of underwhelming for this squad. I mean, nobody really wants to go out there and say it, right? Like, it's kind of a negative Nancy thing to go out there and do in post-game videos or other videos saying, yeah, no, Lindholm's not good, he sucks, we should have kept Kuzmenko. Like, that kind of thing's snobby, it's snarky, I don't really like saying that stuff, but when you think about why they may be interested in trading Lindholm away, this is why. Like, he hasn't been that good. So when it comes to the Canucks, I mean, wow, big ups to Alvin and Rutherford for correcting their mistake within, like, weeks of making that mistake. Of course, hindsight is 20/20. I'm not saying the Lindholm trade was a mistake. We all thought it was a good move when it happened, or at least most of us did. Some of us thought we overpaid. But we all thought that this was a great move, for the most part, in terms of building for the Vancouver Canucks playoff run this year. And so, with this hindsight, Lindholm hasn't been great, the Canucks still want to get another forward, trading him away to open up the roster spot and get some assets to get Jake Guentzel in a second trade, that is some masterclass, absolute bananas decision-making. Big shout out over to Chris for the subscription here. Thank you, Chris, I appreciate that. But Vancouver, crazy talk. So crazy it might actually happen. Vancouver management with a smart move. Oh my goodness, dude. This is going to be pretty crazy. This tells me the Canucks weren't super confident they were going to be able to re-sign Pettersson, so they acquired Lindholm as insurance. Now that Pettersson is signed long-term, Lindholm is less of a need and more of a luxury. That's an interesting idea. I actually didn't think about that. That's cool. Really cool. Crazy when Lindholm scores the Stanley Cup game-winning goal in Game 7-0 overtime on the Bruins against Vancouver, right? Yeah, that's gonna be great, isn't it? Imagine that, eh? Lindholm over to Boston, he's on their first line, he's playing with Pastrnak, he's playing with Marchand, he's playing in the top power play, and then they play the Vancouver Canucks in the finals. Like, ay. Lindholm scored 2 goals in his first game, and then that was it. The rest of his production followed suit, and it hasn't really been the best, and of course we want to give the guy the benefit of the doubt, but if the Vancouver Canucks end up trading him, I can understand why. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the idea of Elias Lindholm getting traded to Boston to open up whatever roster space and cap space is needed to make a Jake Guentzel trade go through and have the Canucks re-sign Guentzel. This makes sense in my mind. Does it make sense in yours? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. 99 and bye.